Hello everyone, today is another perfume video and today we're going to be reviewing a relatively new fragrance to me and actually a relatively new fragrance to the market. This is pretty new, was released in 2021, so this year as of when I'm filming this video. And we are talking about a new release from Narciso Rodriguez, the latest from their For Her line, and this is Narciso Rodriguez For Her Musc Noir. The nose behind the fragrance is Sonia Constant, who is a rather talented, fairly young perfumer. I don't actually know a lot of fragrances by this particular nose. Ocean di Joy from Giorgio Armani is one of the fragrances that I have sampled of her creations, but that's outside the Narciso Rodriguez range, which she has worked with extensively. I have actually several fragrances by her from the Narciso Rodriguez range. She has done a lot with the Narciso Rodriguez fragrance house. Actually, that's how I'm familiar with her work. I don't really know a lot about her work outside of the Narciso range, and she's done a few fragrances that actually are in my drawers. The Narciso Rodriguez For Her Fleur Musc is one of her pieces, and that's a 2017 release. She's also done the Narciso line cubes, the Rouge and the Rouge Eau de Toilette. Both I own actually, and they're really quite good. Very delicate approach to perfumery and really nice, classic yet fresh approach to perfumery. Toca Brigitte is one of her pieces as well. I actually do enjoy that perfume, although I personally do not own it. I didn't feel that it was befitting my personal taste, but I do enjoy the actual scent. The composition that a lot of people are going to be familiar with is the Tom Ford Orchid Soleil. That is a pretty popular fragrance, not down my lane, but it's a pretty hardcore seller for the Tom Ford line. So let's get back to the Musc Noir. It is a very interesting release for the Musc For Her line. It's usually a combination of some kind of a floral with the signature musk that Narciso Rodriguez is very famous for. Here we have something slightly different. Here, instead of a very powerful floral, you get hit with a very powerful fruit. In this case, it's the plum. Plums are some of my favorite fruit actually in perfumery. I really enjoy a dark plum. I'm sure that's where the noir comes from in the name. Anyway, we do have this sweet dark plum that occupies the space where the florals normally sit in the Narciso Rodriguez line. It is a very top note, and it is a very prominent note that actually lingers quite a long time. There's a little bit of smooth suede as a support note. It doesn't really jump out at you a lot. As for florals, there's a bit of a pale heliotrope lingering and just creating a little bit of classic likeness to the fragrance, but really we're talking about the musk with a pretty powerful and slightly powdery plum. I think it can be a little bit divisive within the For Her line, because For Her line is very classically expected to be florals. Normally it's florals. So this big fruit is a bit of a bold statement for the brand, but I think it's worthwhile because truly there is something that was missing from the line, and I think a bold fruity scent is probably that. Don't be put off by the huge plum. It does settle in. It does tame itself a little bit with time. It does wear into a very pleasant fruity musk with powdery overtones. So you do end up with a fragrance that is definitely belonging in the For Her line. And overall, it is staying true to the very core of Narciso Rodriguez ideology, perfume philosophy, which is really their signature musk. Their signature musk is underpinning every single fragrance that they have in their lineup, and it certainly is underpinning this one just as much as the rest. From a noir fragrance, normally I expect actually a lot more boldness and power. There is a sensuality to this guy over here, but it isn't a sugary, punch in the face, date night, out to the club sort of scent. So if you're after that, Musc Noir might not satisfy that craving for you. It is an elevated, more grown-up plum. So if you like fruity scents, but you perhaps feel a little bit like you've outgrown some of the more teenage scents that tend to be very fruity that are out there, but you still like the style, perhaps the Musc Noir is going to be a good choice for you, because it does have that elevated sophistication that comes with usually with the name of Narciso Rodriguez, and I do confirm it is there. It is a little bit outside of what one would expect from their lineup, but not so far out of the left field that you don't recognize that this is a Narciso smell. It is. So overall, there is a sensuality to it for sure. So I guess maybe that's what the Noir piece is coming from, but it's in no way an evening wear scent for me, at least in the classic understanding of what I'm expecting. I'm expecting boldness, I'm expecting longevity, I'm expecting a big, thick, juicy body, whichever style the fragrance comes in. If it's calling itself noir, I'm expecting something very concentrated. This is not what we're getting here. This is by all means a daytime scent for sure, and I wouldn't necessarily classify it as a heavy nighttime hitter. So if you enjoy a little bit of fruity sensuality, but you don't want to go full on bazooka for the evening time, this is a slightly more discreet option. I think this is a good choice for the summer. I haven't worn it obviously in the winter because I purchased it about a month ago. And as you can see, I have been definitely wearing it quite a bit. So there's quite a lot missing from the bottle already. For summertime, actually, this is a very, very nice fragrance for the evening time that is not going to be suffocating and it's not going to be oppressive in the heat. So for the summertime, I do co-sign this as perhaps evening wear scent. For the winter, I suspect, I will report back on it, but I suspect it's going to be more of a pleasant daytime cozy scent. In my opinion, both the longevity and the sillage are really rather moderate, so it is a pleasant middle of the road, not too heavy, not too light fragrance that is going to wear reasonably well, but also is unlikely to be suffocating. The sillage, I would say, maybe is on the lighter side of moderate. And the fragrance does transform over time. It starts out really punchy and fruity, and then it wears off into something a little bit more delicate, a little bit more elevated powder sort of idea. So if you like powdery, fruity scents, then you might like this one. It combines this purpleness of the plum as well as this purpleness of the heliotrope, and one is a bit more punchy and slightly sweet and sour, and the other side, the heliotrope side of it, is more delicate and feminine and a bit more ethereal. So once the plum wears off, you get the heliotrope that really comes up and starts playing a bit of a bigger part in the composition. I've seen it compared with Dior Poison. For me, they aren't even really cousins. They perhaps come from the same tribe a long time ago, but they're not very, very similar. So there aren't a lot of fragrances I can think of on the market that will end up in the same vicinity as this one. And certainly I can't recall anything that would be a clear dupe either. So this is a little bit more unique to what's out there right now. However, I by no means want to say that this is a very unique fragrance by its composition. It isn't. It's a fruity floral, very, very commonly used scent, but this particular combination is not something that I encounter a lot in perfumery, and pleasantly so. I think they somehow captured something very, very everyday, yet unique in its own complex way. So now to who I imagine might enjoy this particular scent. Who would I imagine to wear it? I think this, surprisingly, is one of the workhorse fragrances. What I call workhorse fragrances is scents that are very, very easy to pull off and are quite universally appropriate for a variety of different occasions. They're easy to pull off, easy to wear. The sillage is not too terrible, but also not fragile, and the longevity is decent, although not so long that it's going to give you heebie-jeebies over wearing it over the 12-hour span or something like that. I think it would be nice as a nighttime perfume. I've used that a bunch this summer, specifically this way. I'm thinking because it's such a workhorse fragrance, it doesn't really tell a huge story to me. It comes across as a very nice, fairly clean, yet sweet scent, which is a really nice balance. I think it's difficult to do something sweet and slightly gourmand, yet something that's not sticky. And this fragrance does not enter the sticky territory, in my opinion. It stays within still the fresh powder room powder sort of realm, and I do enjoy that. It's very easy to pull off and really virtually can be worn by anyone, anywhere. Anyone who likes fruity florals really is going to probably enjoy this particular combination. It doesn't tell me a story. It doesn't evoke any feelings or connections with literature, cinema, sometimes colors, textures that comes to mind. In terms of colors and textures, maybe it's a pale rose gold satin, maybe, or even several layers of lame. The slightly see-through sheerness of it reminds me of that kind of a texture, and it's catching different facets, although it's a very, very straightforward combination of notes. Really, it's a very small pyramid. It is multifaceted, it is three-dimensional. However, it's not particular to any certain kind of a person who would wear it. It certainly skews extremely feminine. Not to say that a man cannot pull it off, but I would say that it would be unmistakably marketed towards women. And it's kind of ageless. So it is sophisticated enough to really satisfy the fruity craving of a maybe more mature, realized woman. And it wouldn't really feel out of place on a young girl who's going out clubbing either. I could see it equally on someone who works at the office and a high school student. So it's a very difficult thing to pull off a fragrance that would be appropriate for such a huge variety of situations and ages. And states of mind, I guess, which is a very good thing for a fragrance house, because if they can make it memorable enough that it will pick up traction, but universal enough that it covers a huge age range, it covers a really wide demographic. I think they've hit the nail on the head here regarding that. I think this is probably going to sell very well because it is such a universal, easily worn, accessible scent, not just in terms of being able to purchase it, being accessible, but accessible. You don't have to have particularly developed sense of taste, smell, olfactory preferences. You don't really have to be a connoisseur of fragrances to enjoy it, because it's one of those things that's easy to enjoy. It's easy to like. Therefore, I never say to purchase anything in terms of fragrances without sampling, but this one is one of the safer fragrances to purchase if you aren't smelling it, if you're buying blindly, which I never recommend. I don't recommend it, but if you are to buy blindly, this one's probably not the one you're going to regret to any huge degree. So overall, I suspect that this will be a huge commercial success. I haven't yet decided if it's second bottle worthy for me. I'm not sure yet. I do enjoy it. I think it's a very pleasant scent. I think it's easy to wear. I think it occupies the same realm as do a lot of Burberry fragrances for me. They're also workhorse fragrances that you just pull for when you don't know what to wear. They're always appropriate. This one is in the same realm. It's a little bit different than the rest of the For Her line. Unfortunately, I am a big fan of the For Her line. What I am grateful for is that they didn't put that heavy patchouli into the Musc Noir because I would probably not have purchased it. I do have a bit of trouble with that heavy patchouli, although I do understand that it's beautifully composed base note and it fits into the line very well, but personally for me it is very heavy. Here you don't find that, so if you are concerned about having the heavy patch that does thread through some of the For Her line, especially the Eau de Parfum in the pink bottle, it's not here. This is very, very wearable, very easy. If you are looking for a signature scent, depending on what you want, this might be it. If you want a signature scent, if you're like a one perfume girl or boy, and you want to just have one that will fit any occasion, this could very well be it for you. If you are someone who is looking for a signature scent that is very, very unique, memorable, tells a story, is like an impressionist painting, this is not it. This is very simple, very to the point, very commercial, very likable. So I actually do suggest that you try it out. If you are a fan of Narciso Musk and you've been kind of missing a piece in their collection, that would be a fruity fragrance on their regular musk base, you should like this. You will probably think that this is a really good addition to the line. A step slightly to the left, but it does make sense within the line, I think, and it does make sense specifically within the For Her line. And I think not a bad strategic move for the brand with where they're taking their lineup. What do you think of the For Her Musc Noir? Have you tried it? If you did, what were your thoughts regarding this fragrance? I didn't have a lot of poetic odes to sing to it, but I do feel that it's probably going to be a very successful addition to the lineup. What do you think? Do you like it? Is this something that would be repurchasable for you? For me, I haven't decided yet. And as you can see, I've been really digging into it. So we'll find out how the use goes through the year. In the summer, I do give it a thumbs up. It's a summer-worthy fragrance. For the winter, I will update you when the colder months hit, and I will be able to wear this a little bit more. So that's it for today. I'm expecting some comments down below for you to let me know what you think of the fragrance we discussed today. And have a good day. All the best, good luck, and stay safe. Bye-bye.